Hello everyone, I am Professor Nayan Asne, Department of Information Technology, Parvatibai Genba Mose College of Engineering, Bagoli, Pune. So in this session, we'll see the tools and techniques for the quality control. This is almost the last second part of your SCPM Unit 5. So the point is tools and techniques for the quality control. So the quality management and the project management, these two are complementary things. So they both empathize on the customer satisfaction. Quality leads to the customer satisfaction. The main objective of this quality management is making sure that the project maintain its needs or maintain its goal throughout the process, or the project maintain its needs whatever we have decided previously with the stakeholders or with the customers. So this quality control goes with the different processes like quality planning, the quality management, then perform the quality assurance, and then controlling the quality. So we have different tools and techniques under quality control. So first one is your statistical tool, and second one is the Six Sigma. So let's see the first one, the statistical control. So the statistical control sheets. So the statistical control maintain these things by the sheets and the diagrams. So the statistical control sheets are used for organize information in order to facilitate the data gathering. So the sheets are used to organize the information whatever we have gathered for the product. So the sheets are checked particularly for the infection. Then we have checking the quality attributes. Then we have identifying the quality problems by using that sheets. So the statistical sheets contain the different things. So it contains the inspections, it contains the attribute checking, it contains the potential and identification of your quality problems. So we can have the rough idea about the quality of your software. So again, the statistical control chart contains the different diagrams, different chart under that. So we have first the Petro diagrams. We can say Patero or Petro diagrams. So the Petro diagrams are in ordered bar. So we can see the vertical bar like as we are drawing with the graphics or any statistical method. When you are having a graph chart, then we have that bars. So the Petro diagrams are nothing but the ordered bar showing that the number of defects and their causes with ranked frequency. So these are nothing but the bars which shows the defects and their causes ranked by the frequency. The second is the histogram. So the histogram is the vertical bar that represent a frequency of each measured category of the variable. So it represent the frequency of a variable. Histogram is always used to represent the history, or we can say the frequency of your variable. In exam you usually draw the histogram for different if you have to calculate mean, mode, medium. So we just have the histogram in that. So you can take the example from this. Then third one is the control chart. So control chart are used to determine if processes are in or out of the statistical control. So the control chart always measure if the processes are in the statistical control or they are out of the control. So most of the processes experience a degree of the normal variation. So we have again the variation in statistics also. So that is measured under the control chart. Then we have scatter diagrams. So scatter diagrams are nothing but plot. They plot two variables. One is the independent variable and one is the dependent variable. So it graphically shows the relationship between two variables. So that is your scatter diagram. And the last one is benchmarking. So benchmarking involves comparing the current project activities, or we can say current projects or the activity, to the similar project or the similar activities of the other projects. So this process generally generates the idea for the improvement and also provide the standards to measure the quality performances. So these are 5 different types of statistical control that are used in project for the quality control. First is the Pareto diagram. That means the ordered bar of bar graph showing the number of defects and their causes which are ranked by the frequency. Second is the histogram. That is vertical bar of graph that represent the frequency of each measured category of the variable. Third one is the control chart, that means that measure if the processes are in control of statistical or out of the statistical control. The next one is your scatter diagrams, that means we have two different variables, one independent and dependent variable. So the scatter diagram shows the relationship between two different variables, that is independent and dependent variable. And last one is your benchmarking. So it involves the comparing of the current project or the activity with the similar projects or the activity. So it generates the different ideas for the improvements, and also it sets some standards for measuring the quality of the performances. And last one, one more is the statistical sampling. So the statistical sampling is an approach to selecting a few respective items from the whole samples, and the results are out from that particular sample. So statistical sampling is nothing but getting out a simple sample from the large sample area. So that is your statistical sampling. And Six Sigma, you all know about the Six Sigma. So Six Sigma is a discipline approach toward the process improvement. It is first used by the Generic Electric. So we say it JE Corporation in 1995. So Six Sigma was first used by the Generic Electric in 1995. So many companies across the globe now are using the Six Sigma standards and finding it very usefully. So the main purpose behind the Six Sigma is to improve the process for the development of the product, which is more faster and in more reasonable cost. So the Six Sigma approach uncovers many errors and it also corrects it. So we can say that Six Sigma is a systematic approach for achieving the perfection. It can be also calculated by the Six Sigma calculator. So you can take the example of the Mumbai Dabbewala. So they have the Six Sigma certification. So the defect rate under the Six Sigma is something like 0.0001, something like that. If you have to purchase a certificate of the Six Sigma, the defect rate should be very low. That means the error and the defects in your product should be very low, among thousand and among lakhs. So we have two different sub methodologies under the Six Sigma. The first one is DMAIC process, and second one is DMADV. So here is listed DMAIC and DMADV. So first one, DMAIC, stands for Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve and Control. Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve and Control. And second, DMADV, stands for Define, Measure, Analyze, Design and Verify. So these are two different methodologies under the Six Sigma. So these are two different tools and techniques for the quality control. Now let's move to the next point, that is your risk management. So wherever we are starting the business, we always need to understand what risk will be coming up or what are the potential risks to our business. So same in a software industry, same in a software development process, software manager looks for all the possible risks that can be involved in a software development process. So it involves focusing on all possible risks that could be affect the project development process, like for schedule of your development process can be affected, the quality of your application under the construction can be affected. So these things need to be understood by the software manager, and he will look for the possible potential risk. So we have three types of categories of the risk. The first is the project risk, second is the product risk, and third is the business risk. So the project risk is nothing but they are that are directly affected the schedule of the project and the resource which are involved in a development of your software development. So the project risk directly affect your schedule of the product and your resources that are involved in development, such as if you take the example of the project loss of an experienced developer or the designer. So that is the project risk. Second is your product risk. So the product risk affect the quality and the performance of your application. Suppose like the failure of your purchase component to the perform as per the expectation. So that may be a product risk. If you are purchasing a good component to your product but it fails for the expected output, so that can be your product risk. Third one is your business risk. So they are affecting the overall organization who is developing and who is processing that particular software. So the example of the risk is like competitors of an organization introduce a new product. So that is your business risk. We have also the process of management of risk. Okay, so I think that is not given here. So we have risk management process. Yes, it is here. So the risk management process contains the 4 different blocks. First is the risk identification, risk analysis, risk planning, and risk monitoring. First, identify the potential risk. So list of potential risk are created. The list is created. Then we need to analyze the risk. That means we need to prioritize the risk list. So depend on who first should be eliminated. So that on the priority is set and the list is created. Then we need to plan the risk. That means we need to make a plan for the avoidance of the risk. So that is the risk planning. And last one is the risk monitoring. That means you have to assess that risk. So risk assessment is there. So we have the 4 things which are under the risk management process. Again, if the risk monitoring is done, we need to again analyze the risk if it is there or not. If it is not there, we need to take the another. If again the risk is not uncovered, so we need to again do the risk planning. We again need to monitor the risk, and such a process will continue until and unless we are satisfied with our management. So the next one is the risk strategy. We have 2 different type of risk strategy. First one is the reactive risk and second one is the proactive risk. So in this first type of reactive risk strategy, the project is monitored closely for likely risk which can be encountered in your project. So the resources are monitored to gauge the possible risk and they deal with them. So we don't have to become the problem for the budget and for the cost of the project. Then generally if the risk comes, then the development teams do some rapid actions which overcome the problem. So that is also called as the risk fighting mode. So the development team is responsible for doing the rapid action. And if the project fails, we have the crisis management process under the reactive risk. Then we have the proactive risk. That means provisionally in advance only we are planning the risk. We are planning the risk avoidance. So the proactive risk strategy is intended when the actual technical works begin. The potential risks are previously identified and the probability and impacts are also assessed. So the main goal is to avoid the risk only. And development team creates a plan which controls the risk. So there is one different. The development team does not get involved, or we can say due to the development team the risk doesn't occur in a reactive risk. The development in proactive risk, the development team itself creates the plan for avoidance of the risk. So that is the basic difference between the reactive and proactive. Reactive means when the risk comes, then we are planning the things. Proactive means in avoidance, for avoiding the risk only we are planning the things. So that is a proactive. And reactive is nothing but when the risk comes, we need to have more actions. We need to go for fighting mode, or we need to go for the crisis management, which is at the last of the things, last of your risk management. So these are 2 type of strategies under the risk. So in the next session we'll start with the last topic for your unit 5. So I hope this session is understood. You can, if you have any doubt, you can comment in comment box, or you can ask me in a Zoom session. So thank you.